Opens on
This morning with travel themes. They are meant to help brighten up the temporary construction project on Concourse C.
We'll see you back here tonight at 6 o'clock. Right now it's time for NBC Nightly News and Tom Brokaw.
Good night.
The Columbine killers, the real plan left behind on secret tapes. For the first time, what they really wanted, how the massacre could have been much worse. In depth tonight, Decision 2000, tonight's critical GOP debate, and George W. Bush's secret weapon, why he's doing so well with women. Vital link, the Panama Canal, a symbol of strength for a century of Americans. What now as it leaves U.S. control? And going to extremes, why more and more Americans call this a vacation.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw, reporting tonight from Des Moines, Iowa.
Good evening. I'm in Des Moines tonight for that Republican presidential debate. More about that later. But ever since the terrible massacre at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado last spring, we've all been trying to understand what possibly motivated the two boys behind the guns. Tonight we do have a better idea. And the explanations Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris left behind on videotape are so cold-blooded, so stunning, they only deepen the fundamental question of why they felt such senseless rage. We begin tonight with NBC's Roger O'Neill.
In the cafeteria of Columbine High, panic. Students ducking for cover. Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris are in the library next door, killing students. Graphic details today how, why the two angry teenagers wanted a massacre at Columbine High. Much worse than the 12 students and teacher they did kill. Klebold said, "I hope we kill 250 of you." That chilling quote made a month before the April 20th shooting spree. The two boys made 3 home videos. Reporters saw them today, but police would not allow us to show you. In another tape made the morning of the shootings a 1-minute-long goodbye message. Klebold, "I didn't like life very much." Harris, who often pointed a shotgun at the camera, "I know my mom and dad will be in shock and disbelief." But Klebold declares, "It's what we had to do." The county sheriff first showed the home videos to Time magazine, then decided others should see it too. Why not before? Sheriff spokesman Wayne Halverson.
We were concerned about the potential for sensationalism and the resulting anguish to the victims' families.
But why release the tapes at all? Brian Rohrbaugh, whose son Daniel was killed, is incensed the sheriff made the tapes public.
They promised me and every other family who was there this would never happen.
None of the families has seen the tapes. This is Judy Brown.
These families are victims, and they are being victims again.
In all the tapes, Klebold and Harris always appear angry, bent on revenge. Against whom? Blacks, Jews, Asians, athletes, and whites. Klebold declaring, "You're going to pay for blanking us." Not a sentence was spoken without a profanity. Harris proclaims, "We aren't afraid either. We're going to blank die doing it." Time magazine's Timothy Roach got the first look at the disturbing tapes.
The most chilling thing is hearing them talk with excitement about the bombs that will explode and the people they will kill and the mayhem they will cause.
Reporter Nancy Gibbs says the two mimic the video game they often played.
On these videotapes, they make a lot of references, particularly to their favorite game, Doom. Eric Harris nicknamed his shotgun after a Doom character, and at one point he says, "You know, this is going to be great. It's going to be just like Doom."
The two boys clearly wanted to become famous for Judgment Day, as they called it. They thought there'd be a movie made. But instead of becoming martyrs, the police say today's release shows how disturbed the two boys were. It also shows how much pain they still cause in this community. The last words on the tape from Harris, calmly, "That's it. Sorry. Goodbye." Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Denver. Those references to their favorite video games and their hopes that someone would buy their story are bound to touch off a fresh round of debates and controversies over the place of violence and entertainment. The video game industry is already on the defensive. NBC's Pete Williams has more on that tonight.
At least twice in the home videos, the boys talk about the violent fast-action video game Doom. Eric Harris is quoted as saying of the school shooting, "It's going to be like Doom." and Harris even names his shotgun Arlene after a prominent character in the game. The disclosures come as no surprise to Jack Thompson, a lawyer who's already suing the game's maker on behalf of the parents of 3 children killed in a different school shooting in West Paducah, Kentucky 2 years ago. He claims the boy convicted in that case was a big fan of the game and shot so many people because it teaches players to quickly shoot as many victims as possible, telling children, he says, that skillful killing brings reward.
To achieve fame, to achieve hero status, and to do so by acting out the skills as well as the bloodlust that they developed while playing these games.
While his is the only school shooting lawsuit against video games, legal experts predict more like it, with victims of violent crimes already also suing movie studios and book publishers. For instance, relatives of a woman shot in a convenience store robbery are suing the makers of the film Natural Born Killers. And the publisher of a book about how to kill and then cover it up decided to settle a lawsuit filed after a man in Maryland killed a woman by following the book's instructions. First Amendment scholars see a danger in just going after books, movies, and games.
We're moving towards a situation in which nobody is responsible for anything except the people who manufacture whatever instrument was used in the causation of the harm.
Despite today's revelations about the Columbine tapes, the industry says there's no actual proof video games cause violence, and the courts have yet to sort out what may have pushed these youthful killers over the edge. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.
Now to Cuba, where tonight the father of that young Cuban refugee is hopeful that his meeting with U.S. immigration officials could be a turning point. NBC's Andrea Mitchell in Havana again tonight.
After almost 3 weeks, finally tonight, Cuba allows American officials to travel to the town 80 miles from Havana to question the father of Elian Gonzalez. Elian's father produces a stack of documents to prove legally he is the father, a crucial step toward whether or not the boy is returned to Cuba. After the meeting, the father concludes U.S. officials are trying to be even-handed. His neighbors, though, are not as friendly. They shout, "Release Elian," and practically chase the U.S. immigration team out of town. His father says he does worry about how the 6-year-old's emotions are being manipulated by relatives who don't want him to leave the U.S., how trips to Universal Studios today and Disney World over the weekend could seduce his son, and that he could not call his son for 2 days. So why did Elian's father agree to meet U.S. officials? Sources here say Cuban officials, led by Castro himself, wanted him to do it. That despite 4 decades of animosity, Cuba's government and Washington agree on one thing, that politics should not come between a boy and his father. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Havana.
Still ahead from here in Des Moines tonight, Decision 2000, NBC News in depth. George W. Bush and the women's vote, why some think women will find this Republican frontrunner so appealing.
George loves his wife, obviously, and loves his mother. I think that those are things that resonate, especially with women voters, as a change from Bill Clinton.
George W. Bush and the female factor tonight in depth. And going to extremes on vacation when a simple trip to the beach is not enough.
Good morning, Mr. Schwab.
Morning.
Introducing Velocity from Schwab, the new incredibly powerful online trading software system. With the power to place multiple orders at one time, it's fast and smart. And, if you'll pardon the expression, cool.
All the way to the corner, girl, and you do a little do-si-do.
Imagine calling a dance without worrying about your dentures slipping. Thanks to the all-day hold of Super Poly Grip, I can laugh and smile and take a healthy bite out of life.
Oh, this awful cold.
Poor baby. He'll be up all night.
Coughing.
Sneezing. No way he'll be up with the chickens.
No cold hands in the morning.
Sorry, girls, but he's getting NyQuil.
You need relief.
So I can rest. And when he wakes up, he'll be ready to go.
Good morning, ladies.
NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest and have a good morning medicine.
I may look young, but I still suffer from hot flashes. I discovered a natural way to deal with it. New Healthy Woman from the makers of Monistat. Healthy Woman's a soy menopause supplement that helps relieve hot flashes in a natural way. New Healthy Woman.
If you're looking for horsepower, look at Chevy Silverado. Because Silverado has the most powerful V8 of any 4x4 pickup. More powerful than Dodge. More powerful than Ford. 300 horsepower. That's why it's the truck. Silverado from Chevy.
Dateline. New tonight at 6. How would you clean up the Willamette River? The experts have put in their 2 cents. Here's solutions from Portlanders. Tonight at 6 on Northwest News Channel 8, where the news comes first. Meteorologist Matt Sapino, weeknights on News Channel 8.
NBC News in depth tonight, Decision 2000. We're here in Iowa for the third debate among all the Republican presidential candidates. Once again, all eyes will be on George W. Bush. How will he handle himself? Then there's the women's vote. And for the first time in a long while, a Republican frontrunner appeals to women. What's different about George W. Bush? We begin tonight in depth, NBC's David Bloom.
Arriving in Des Moines late today, Governor Bush is greeted by some of his most loyal supporters, women. For years, women have voted disproportionately for Democrats. But when it comes to Bush, the so-called gender gap may be dead.
I think he's charismatic. He just stands so far out of all the others in both parties.
In a sweeping survey of female voters out tonight by the women's network iVillage.com, 54% of Republican women back Bush. John McCain is second at 8%. And in a hypothetical matchup, Bush beats Vice President Gore among all women by 7 percentage points and Bill Bradley by 15 points.
Hope is because I've got a heart that people can see and sense, and I've got an agenda that is positive and optimistic.
He's been talking about the issues that women tend to care about, particularly education.
There are other explanations. A top Republican strategist, a woman, says too many Republicans come across as, quote, dour, scolding, intolerant. Not Bush, she says, and other Republicans agree.
I think women believe him when he says, I want to be compassionate. George loves his wife, obviously, and loves his mother. I think that those are things that resonate, especially with women voters, as a change from Bill Clinton.
Now alarmed Democrats, and especially abortion rights groups, are trying to undercut Bush's support among women with television ads such as this.
Get the picture? George W. Bush is anti-choice.
They just don't know enough about him yet. And when they do, he will lose support.
The gender gap could reappear if undecided women, many of them independents and Democrats, break sharply for Gore or Bradley. But tonight, Bush's surprising support from women is among his greatest strengths. David Bloom, NBC News, Des Moines.
Here in Iowa, one of the most powerful grassroots organizations is the Christian Coalition, social conservatives who decided in 1988 to bring their values based on faith into the political arena. The coalition is not the force here it once was, but all the candidates for the Republican nomination are eager for the backing of coalition members.
Help us have a good
Collins, Iowa, an American portrait.
In your name we pray. Amen. Go after it, Tate.
David and Becky Struthers sitting down to supper. Third-generation family farmers raising corn and hogs on 800 acres, struggling to work the land and the political system. The Struthers are members of the Christian Coalition. Their agenda, a candidate compassionate to farming and conservative family values.
I need to have a balance. I can't really say there's one more important than the other.
It's very important to me that my children have somebody to look up to in the presidential office.
God bless you. The coalition was once a political powerhouse, but can it still influence decisions?
It's, I think, more difficult for the Christian right to be influential in this election cycle because they don't have a single standard bearer.
It was formed by supporters of evangelist and presidential candidate Pat Robertson. The coalition is powered by grassroots organizing.
How you guys doing? Good. Nice to see you.
They make up only 5% of the Iowa electorate, but on election day, they show up in much higher proportion than other groups.
They matter because they volunteer. They matter because they give of their time and their effort. They matter because they show up at rallies, and they'll absolutely positively show up at the polls, no matter what the weather is like.
73-year-old Ione Dilley is the godmother of the Iowa Christian Coalition. She concedes the coalition has lost some of its power, but she says it affects every candidate.
Forbes and Bauer and Bush all have some of our top organizing people in their campaigns. They took the cream of the crop.
And this time, the coalition is looking for a winner. But to win, experts feel the coalition needs to be less confrontational, more compromising. David Yepsen is Iowa's premier political writer.
So many of them have been assimilated into the mainstream of the party. They've compromised some of their views. They've decided they want to win some elections.
For coalition members, like the Struthers, abortion and affairs of the church remain important. But they know that in order to improve their lives, they must vote for a candidate who can win in November. Up next, the end of an era. On the eve of the Panama Canal handover ceremonies, why are so many critics worried about what comes next?
Before I quit smoking, I asked my doctor, is Nicorette safe? And he said, of course Nicorette is safe. Smoking is not. Nicorette has been proven safe and effective in dozens of clinical trials. And Nicorette offers the Committed Quitter Support Program, which my doc said is clinically proven to increase my chances of success by up to 50%. And when he told me that only Nicorette comes in mint, I knew that that was the right choice for me. So I took my doctor's advice, and you know what? It worked.
You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Hershey's Pot of Gold? What are you, crazy? We hardly know them.
Bill? Hi.
Hi.
Hershey's Pot of Gold. It's that good.
Hey, what's that?
The new Rugrats edition Gateway Astro PC.
I'm glad I thought of it, Drew.
I thought of it.
It's internet ready.
Wow.
And comes with lots of stuff kids need in a PC.
Wow.
Plus 5 Rugrats and Nickelodeon software titles.
Wow.
It's $899 with an Intel Celeron processor.
Brilliance. Sheer brilliance.
Order by the 20th for guaranteed Christmas delivery.
I was about as miserable as a girl could be. Heartburn worse than yesterday's coffee. And pains. My antacid didn't do the whole job. And Pepsid takes so long. Then I tried Alka-Seltzer. It just plain worked better.
Alka-Seltzer, the only one with the medicines to relieve all your symptoms.
It really works fast.
And only Alka-Seltzer has the effervescent power to speed relief.
Alka-Seltzer. It made a believer out of me.
Get better relief. Get Alka-Seltzer.
I'm the Black & Decker floor buster. I eat broken glass for breakfast. I eat cat litter for lunch. Let's just say I have an insatiable appetite. I'm the floor buster. I'm built by Black & Decker.
Yeah, let me get this straight.
Yes.
Are you actually saying I don't have to pay you a separate commission every time I trade a stock?
Exactly.
I'd pay an annual fee instead.
Right.
Is anyone getting this?
We don't pay you a commission every time we trade. What's your motivation?
It's just like always, Ann, your best interest.
Could you just explain it again?
Maybe what it is the fee is based on the value of our portfolios. So when we succeed, they succeed.
Well, you'll have to be patient with us. This is all very new.
This week, if you're planning a visit to Studio 1A, bring along a new unwrapped toy and make a child's holiday. Join our annual toy drive all this week on Today.
Start the millennium with NBC News.
We have learned tonight that there was a very specific reason behind that worldwide travel alert issued by the State Department on Friday. According to intelligence reports, after members of a Mideast terrorist cell controlled by Osama bin Laden were arrested, one of them told authorities of plans for attacks against large gatherings of Christians on New Year's Eve. Senior administration officials are telling NBC News tonight that they were particularly concerned about the hundreds of thousands who will be gathering in Rome and Jerusalem on that night. And the end of an era that spanned almost 100 years tonight, the eve of what promises to be very low-key ceremonies marking the handover of the Panama Canal from U.S. control to Panama. And although this deal has been decades in the making, it still has its critics. Here's NBC Jim Miklashevsky.
This is the last U.S. military base in Latin America. But after 95 years of U.S. military presence, the Panamanians are moving in.
Okay, Sergeant Shirley, it's showtime.
Out of the thousands of U.S. troops once stationed in Panama, only a handful remain. Their final task, to hand over this base at East Corzal.
There's a sense of sadness, quite honestly, a sense of honor that we did the job as well as could be possibly done.
That job to protect the Panama Canal. The canal was built as a shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific, vital to U.S. economic and strategic interests. Each year, 13,000 ships carrying 190 million tons of cargo pass through the canal. Although not as militarily significant as it once was, the U.S. military still relies heavily on the canal. Without it, it would take Navy ships an extra 30 days and $2 million to steam around the tip of South America. Now that the U.S. is handing over control of the canal, there are serious concerns Panama may not be able to handle it. Fears that a single act of terrorism or even mismanagement could shut down the entire canal. A recent security report warns that the canal is a tempting target for terrorists. And with no standing army, Panama cannot match U.S. firepower in deterrence.
So I think we have a wide open door for both drug trafficking and regional terrorism to enter into Panama.
Experts also fear the gates are wide open for corruption or mismanagement, that hundreds of millions needed each year to maintain the canal could go to Panama instead.
There is concern that money could get siphoned off.
But canal officials insist there are adequate legal protections to ensure this vital waterway stays up and running.
To milk the canal in some fashion so that it starts to fall apart would be counterproductive to that strategy. And I think that they're well positioned to handle the canal very well.
But under international agreements, if the canal is threatened in any way, the U.S. has the right to intervene to keep it open. So even as the last American troops leave Panama, some in the U.S. military predict someday they'll have to return. Jim Miklashevsky, NBC News, Panama.
And on Wall Street today, the blue chips did lose some ground, but technology stocks continue to power ahead. The Dow finished down more than 32 points. NASDAQ was up almost 38 points today, pushing further into record territory. Joe Heller wrote 6 books, but none was as acclaimed or as popular as his 1961 classic, Catch-22. It sold more than 10 million copies. Heller based the book on his own experiences as an Army Air Corps bombardier in Italy during World War II. Joe Heller died of a heart attack last night at his home on Long Island. He was 76 years old. I'll be right back.
My driving test kind of got off to a bad start.
On calls like this, you want to talk a while. That's why it's always a good idea to dial 10-10-321.
Well, I thought I was in first.
With 10-10-321, you save 50% on calls over 10 minutes. Now, that's just 8 cents a minute, day or night.
I was supposed to turn on the blinker.
And no monthly fees. And that 50% off, you can go on and on and on.
So finally, I pull out of the parking space.
Talk as long as you want with 10-10-321.
3 minutes from now, a heart attack victim will be rushed into this emergency room. Medication will be injected. IV fluids will be needed. The patient will be protected from infection. Breathing will be assisted. And one more life will be saved.
Mrs. Hanson? Yes. I'm Dr. Moore. Her husband's doing fine. Oh, I'm so glad.
Thanks to advanced medical techniques and a material we call plastic.
The hot flashes got pretty bad. Night sweats were ruining my sleep. Vaginal dryness made intimacy uncomfortable. And I was worried that estrogen loss at menopause could lead to osteoporosis, a long-term health problem. Menopause is complicated. Talking to my doctor helped. For me, she prescribed Prempro. It's relieving my uncomfortable symptoms, and along with calcium and exercise, helping prevent osteoporosis.
Prempro is only for women who have not had a hysterectomy. Prempro is not for every woman. You should not take Prempro if you've had any breast or uterine cancer, abnormal vaginal bleeding, abnormal blood clotting, liver or heart disease, stroke, or if you think or know you are pregnant. Tell your doctor about your personal and family medical history.
Side effects include blood clots, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, breast tenderness, irregular bleeding, and headache. For more information, talk to your doctor about Prempro or call.
I'm glad my doctor prescribed Prempro. Now I'm feeling great. For me, it's Prempro.
In this life, there's just no stopping. No break for a hacking cough. No rest for a raw, sore throat, aches, fever. But when you're desperate for relief, there is TheraFlu. Fast, powerful, hot liquid therapy. With the first sip of that soothing hot liquid, you feel relief is on the way. Soon your throat is soothed, your cough calmed. Maximum strength TheraFlu. Now in new honey lemon chest congestion and cough. Instant comfort, powerful relief.
Wednesday on the West Wing.
Do you know this man?
A Christmas story about a forgotten hero.
He was given a medal.
Who dies unnoticed. And the quiet man who gives one last gift of honor. A story to be proud of on the West Wing. All new Wednesday on NBC.
Remember when the idea of a vacation was a week at the beach, some good books, afternoon naps, and a nightly toast to the sunset? Well, for some in our speeded-up universe, that still may be the ideal, but for an increasing number of well-heeled wannabes, there's a fantasy vacation out there. Here's NBC's Jim Amala.
Mild-mannered David Gray sits at a computer 51 weeks a year. But not this week. This week, David Gray is on vacation.
Put your hands up.
We want to achieve surprise, right?
An extreme vacation in the Arizona desert at Spy Camp. Who's on this trip? A real estate agent from Virginia, an anesthesiologist from New Jersey, and our banker from Maryland.
Fire!
Travel industry experts say 31 million Americans now choose this type of hard adventure vacation, from whitewater rafting, mountain climbing, to race car driving.
People are, more active, more energetic. They're looking for things to inject excitement into their lives.
Coming as close as they can to real danger, like at the Richard Petty NASCAR driving experience in Las Vegas, where for $1,000 a day, amateurs drive genuine race cars at speeds of 150 miles per hour.
We want to push people to a new level, faster speeds than they ever thought that they could do.
Or back at the abandoned ex-CIA training facility, live-action war games with real bullets, crashing cars, and hand-to-hand combat.
We're trying to offer people the opportunity to actually do all the things that they've seen in action-adventure movies all their life, but never got to experience.
The price tag, nearly $4,000. And what are these pretend James Bonds buying for all that money? 72 hours of pure adrenaline.
I love adventures, vacations that are adventures. It's just like going back to being, like 12 years old running around the forest.
The payoff for 3 days of spying in the desert comes on the last night, a tactical meeting interrupted by a surprise kidnapping. The stunned secret agent recruits are given paintball weapons and assigned to get the hostage back.
Here's what we know 2 hours after the hostage was taken. They're in one house, 5 or 6 guards. 2 teams of good guys are on the way to get her. An all-out paintball battle. The hostage safely rescued.
It feels close to real, but I know I'm not going to die.
Living another day, the extreme vacation flashing through his mind, holding him at his computer another 51 weeks. Jim Avila, NBC News, Tucson.
We can't do.
Then there's the Anchorman Summer Camp. You put on makeup and read out loud. That's Nightly News for Monday. Don't forget Dateline.